A major political shakeup is unfolding in Westminster today, sending ripples across the country. After months of tension, criticism, and mounting pressure from various sectors, Prime Minister Keir Starmer has made an unexpected decision, one that could dramatically change the outlook for millions of British pensioners this coming winter. But before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more updates. This move represents a complete reversal of one of the most controversial policies introduced by his government, the scrapping of the universal winter fuel payment, a benefit that for years helped older people cover soaring heating costs during the colder months. Now, millions of retirees who had been anxiously wondering how they would afford to stay warm have been handed a vital lifeline. In an announcement that has caused a stir both in Parliament and in households up and down the country, the Labour government has confirmed it will expand access to the winter fuel payment. Under the new rules, anyone who has reached the state pension age in England and Wales and earns £35,000 or less annually will now qualify for this financial support. This marks a major shift from the original plan, which limited the benefit only to those already receiving pension credit. The revised approach not only broadens the scope of support, but also provides much-needed certainty for millions of low- and middle-income pensioners, especially as the country prepares for yet another winter marked by a high cost of living and persistently rising energy prices. The Chancellor has stated that the change will benefit approximately 9 million pensioners, over three-quarters of all retirees in England and Wales. Households will receive £200 in support, rising to £300 for those aged 80 or over. Most importantly, the payments will be issued automatically, with no need for applications, just as energy bills begin to climb. However, there is a significant caveat. Pensioners earning over £35,000 will still receive the payment initially, but the amount will later be reclaimed through the tax system, either via payroll deductions or through their self-assessment tax returns. For those who wish to avoid the recovery process altogether, the government will offer an option to decline the payment voluntarily. Details on how to do this will be released soon. A Treasury spokesperson defended the revised policy, stating, "This new scheme provides clarity, ensures the support arrives on time this winter, and is better targeted, focusing resources on those who need them most." According to the government, the reform aims to create a fairer and more efficient system, adapted to the country's current economic realities. To qualify under the new guidelines, individuals must have reached state pension age by the week starting the 15th of September this year. Additionally, Scotland and Northern Ireland will receive extra funding, allowing their devolved governments to adopt similar thresholds and ensure that pensioners across the UK are included. This reform is more than just a course correction. It marks a fundamental departure from the previously universal nature of the benefit. The Treasury argues that applying income-based criteria will help direct support more effectively, protect the most vulnerable, and ease the burden on public finances. The government also maintains that the approach aligns with its commitment to fiscal responsibility. Labour Chancellor Rachel Reeves has strongly defended the decision, describing it as tough but necessary in light of the difficult financial situation inherited from the previous Conservative government. It's fair to introduce an income cap. It makes no sense to restore this benefit for the wealthiest pensioners when others are in genuine need. That's why we've expanded the criteria, to make sure no low-income retiree is left behind, she said. The new £35,000 income threshold is significantly above the poverty line and close to the national median income. Treasury officials believe it strikes the right balance between generosity and fiscal discipline. It's estimated that the extended scheme will cost around £1.25 billion in England and Wales alone. However, by introducing income limits, the Treasury expects to recover approximately £450 million, pending confirmation from the Office for Budget Responsibility, OBR. The government has stressed that this expansion will not result in any permanent increase in public debt. The costs will be accounted for in the upcoming national budget and included in future fiscal projections. It is also anticipated that the Chancellor will announce additional funding measures to ensure compliance with the government's fiscal rules. For context, the initial decision to drastically cut the winter fuel payment was among the first major actions taken by the Labour government after coming to power. It was aimed at closing a £22 billion budget shortfall, which the current administration attributes to mismanagement by the former Conservative government. However, the cutback reduced the number of beneficiaries from 11.4 million to just 1.5 million, triggering widespread backlash from both the opposition and the public. That backlash translated into heavy losses for Labour in the local elections, prompting Starmer to partially reverse the policy last month. Today's announcement goes much further, significantly broadening the eligibility in a clear attempt to stem political damage and avoid further electoral fallout. The government has also reaffirmed its commitment to the triple lock, ensuring that more than 12 million pensioners across the UK will continue to see automatic increases to their state pension. This could mean an increase of up to £1,900 over the course of this Parliament, a measure that the government says will shield older people from the rising cost of living. Even so, the opposition remains unconvinced. Kem Bardino, leader of the opposition parties, has delivered a scathing critique of the Prime Minister's handling of the matter. I repeatedly urged him to reconsider his heartless decision to scrap the winter payment, but he arrogantly dismissed every appeal. This humiliating U-turn offers little comfort to the millions who last winter had to choose between heating and eating. Starmer owes the public an apology for his poor judgment, Bardino stated. Despite the political uproar, the government has moved to reassure pensioners, confirming that no action will be needed either to receive the payment or to repay it if they exceed the income threshold. The entire process will be managed automatically through HMRC's existing systems, eliminating the need for bureaucratic procedures. This latest development signals a major shift in how pensioner benefits are handled in the UK, moving away from universal payments towards a model based on economic need. However, it also leaves the government vulnerable to criticism for having underestimated the social and political consequences of its original decision. With winter fast approaching, the stakes are high for the Labour Party. The outcome of this policy change will resonate not only in the homes of millions of pensioners but also across the political landscape. For now, at least, many older Britons can breathe a little easier, knowing they won't be left out in the cold. In other news, Nigel Farage today called for the reopening of the Port Talbot Steelworks, a flagship proposal in his electoral campaign aimed squarely at Welsh voters ahead of the upcoming 2026 Senate elections. Speaking from the industrial heartland of South Wales, Farage laid out his vision to restore traditional steel production within Britain. In his remarks, he emphasized the strategic importance of the sector, not just for the local economy, but for the country's wider industrial sovereignty. According to the Reform UK leader, the Port Talbot plant is emblematic of both the neglect of British industry and the opportunity to rebuild it under new political leadership. This isn't the first time Farage has taken a firm stance in support of the steel industry. Earlier this year, he voiced his backing for steelworkers in Scunthorpe, another town hit hard by plant closures, job losses, and years of cutbacks. That visit attracted significant media attention and bolstered his broader message of taking back control of key parts of the British economy. With this latest appearance in Wales, Farage is stepping up his campaign in what is a clear attempt to challenge more than 120 years of Labour dominance in the region. His strategy is aimed at connecting with voters who feel their concerns have been ignored for far too long by the mainstream parties. Reform UK sees these industrial areas as fertile ground to build a solid political base, appealing to a mix of national pride and a widespread desire for change. Sources close to the party hinted in advance that Farage would seek to appeal to the hearts and souls of a deeply patriotic population, one that, in their view, has been abandoned by a Labour Party that has lost touch with its working-class roots. In that context, Port Talbot is more than just a town. It represents everything Reform UK claims it wants to bring back: secure jobs, domestic production, and strong local communities. During his speech, Farage delivered a direct message to the people of Wales. He launched a pointed attack on Welsh Labour, accusing it of failing to represent or defend the interests of its constituents. "Our goal is very simple," he said. "We want to win. Our aim is to secure a majority, and as a party, we are determined to govern in Wales. And honestly, I believe it's possible. I see it when I speak to people, walk through these streets, and hear the frustration in their voices." Farage didn't stop there. He went on to comment on the broader political landscape, suggesting that Plaid Cymru, the Welsh Nationalist Party, is likely to perform well only in its traditional strongholds, without much room for growth elsewhere. As for the Conservatives, he was even more scathing, describing them as a party in terminal decline, lacking leadership and, in his words, on the verge of political extinction. "Labour is failing spectacularly in Wales," Farage added. And I'm not just talking about broken promises, I'm talking about a complete disconnect from the real needs of ordinary people. We genuinely believe we can win. And if we play our cards right, if we speak honestly, if we listen, then I have no doubt that we can achieve victory as soon as next May. The message is clear. Farage wants to position Reform UK as the only credible alternative for voters who feel let down by the current political system. With a platform focused on jobs, energy, national security, and British industry, he is attempting to establish himself as the voice of those left behind. So, what's your take on today's topic? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this analysis informative, don't forget to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel for more updates on British politics, the economy, and current affairs. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.